Mixed emotions from Singapore. On the positive, Franco had a strong weekend at a track he's never seen before. It's difficult conditions, it's humid, and yet he was within seconds of points all the way to the checkered flag. On the negative, we have Alex both at the front of the field, dropping back as a result of the start. He wasn't sure what was happening with both Ferraris and Franco and took evasive action. And Franco stayed on his line, but I understand entirely why Alex did that, and he lost too many positions at that point. Then going to the race, we obviously had a DNF, and that DNF was costly. As we were fighting with him back through the field, we lost all opportunity. I'm encouraged by the fact that we have a competitive car, and we have at a track that's been really poor for us historically, and it bodes well for the remaining 6 races, and I can't wait to see where we are. The championship is still wide open, and there's plenty of opportunity in front of us. Welcome to the Vowles Verdict, presented by Kraken. The start of the race is nothing that you plan in advance. You have to react to conditions around you. In that, both Ferrari and Alex were reacting really to what they thought was a lock-up from Franco. It wasn't. It was dust being kicked up on the way in. He was actually in control of the car, left space at the apex, and could put the car where he needed to. So historically, what you're looking for is a car being out of control, and Franco wasn't. He was completely in control of what he was doing. He wasn't aiming actually to beat the Ferraris. He was aiming to get ahead of the V-carb that was there right ahead of him, because he knew that would be our race for points. In the case of what others are talking about, I can understand where they were, especially I spent time with Alex afterwards, because from their perspective, all they're looking at is a little bit in their mirror where you're uncertain as to whether there's a large accident coming. I hope now others look in hindsight, especially in a top-down view, and see that what Franco did was keep the car very much in control and position it where he needed to gain places. Alex's car was running hot. We could see that from the beginning of the race, but then it started stepping up quite considerably. The actual reason, even today as I talk to you, is not fully known yet. What I can tell you is there's a carbon duct that links to one of the radiators, and that was cracked. Whether that was enough to be able to cause this issue is what we're still going through the question of. What we will know, though, is once we have that, there are effectively measures in place to make sure we both understand the fault and have systems in place to rectify not just that, but others that could occur as a result of the learning that we've had. To make a car faster, you need every part of it really working together. You need the weight to be where it needs to be in terms of the car weight distribution, but also in terms of the mass, making sure you're below the FI min limit. You need to make sure that the balance of the car in low, medium and high speed is good, which is a combination of aerodynamics and vehicle dynamics at the same time. You need to make sure that you're adding downforce load to the car without adding excessive amounts of drag at the same time. And you need the car really to be packaged as one and working as one. And that's the real clarity behind all of it. So it's not just that you're reliant on aerodynamics, that's obviously an incredibly large part of it, but it has to match what you're doing elsewhere within the business, especially within your suspension, for example, and how you use and operate the tyres. What you can see this year is tyres are, not just this year, in fact, all years, tyres are really predominantly one of the major comments coming out from the drivers and the teams. It happened to us again this weekend. We weren't in the right place in qualifying, and they really are on a knife edge. It's the same product for everyone. We've just got to do a better job than others in order to go ahead of them. So everything you're doing is fundamentally focusing on getting the tyres in the right window, but balancing the car and having downforce are the keys behind it all. Lia is progressing incredibly well. If you look for the number of days that she's had in a single-seater car, it's limited. I think we are now at sort of 20 days or so, but we're just not a large amount. She had 2 fourth-place finishes in Singapore, and I was watching both of them. I was on the pit wall for the first of those 2. She drove well. She liked street tax. She actually came up to me before the Singapore weekend and was really just happy that she was there. She feels comfortable with a wall next to her, it seems. And also, you've seen her perform very well in conditions where, for example, it's wet or it's unpredictable, and she really comes to the fore as a result of that. But I think more importantly, what you're seeing from Lia this year is really strong progression. She hasn't finished yet. She's moved up in the championship. We've still got a few rounds left to go, and she knows what the goal is. The goal is to be ahead and to win. There's a little bit more to come from her, a little bit more to come from the team, but It's a multi-year project and I can't wait to see how she progresses.